Rain fell softly, creating a gentle symphony as it touched the leaves and the ground. The park was serene, almost magical, with the evening shadows stretching long and the soft patter of rain adding a rhythmic background. The air was cool and fresh, filled with the earthy scent of rain-soaked soil and the subtle fragrance of blooming flowers. It was a moment of peace, a brief respite from the chaos of the world. Jake sat on the park bench, his umbrella shielding him from the rain. He watched the droplets dance on the surface of the puddles, lost in thought. The park was almost empty, save for a few brave souls who, like him, found solace in the rain. The bench was a familiar spot, a place where he often came to reflect and find comfort in the quiet moments. His old dog Max rested his head on Jake's lap, his eyes half closed in contentment. Max had been with Jake for as long as he could remember, a loyal companion through all of life's ups and downs. The bond they shared was unspoken but deeply felt, a connection that transcended words. Max was very old, his fur was grey, a testament to the many years they had spent together. Each grey hair told a story, a memory of a life well lived. Despite his age, Max's spirit was still strong, his love for Jake unwavering. His eyes were cloudy, a sign of the years that had passed, but he still wagged his tail. A small but powerful gesture of his enduring affection, Max's tail wag, was a reminder of the joy he still found in the simple things, like being close to Jake. Jake gently stroked Max's ears, his touch light and loving. He knew that Max found comfort in these small gestures, and it was a way for him to show his love and appreciation for his faithful friend. The rain continued to fall, but in that moment, it felt like they were in their own little world. He remembered the day they met. Jake smiled at the memory, a warmth spreading through his chest. It had been a sunny afternoon, and Max was just a playful puppy, full of energy and curiosity. From that day on, they had been inseparable, sharing countless adventures and quiet moments alike. They had been through so much together. They were best friends, partners in crime, and each other's confidants. Through the changing seasons, they had walked side by side, facing whatever life threw at them with unwavering support and love. Their journey was marked by laughter, tears, and everything in between, always there for each other. Through thick and thin, they had weathered every storm together. Max had been a constant source of comfort and joy, his presence a steady anchor in Jake's life. No matter what challenges they faced, they knew they could rely on each other. Rain started falling harder, the gentle patter turning into a steady downpour. It was time to go home, but neither Jake nor Max was in a hurry to leave. They savored the moment, knowing that these quiet times together were precious and fleeting. Jake hugged Max close, feeling the warmth of his old friend against him. He whispered, "I love you, boy," his voice filled with emotion. Max's tail wagged gently in response, a silent acknowledgement of the bond they shared. As they made their way home, Jake knew that no matter what the future held, they would always have these moments to cherish. Jake lived in a small village. It was a picturesque place with cobblestone streets and charming cottages that seemed to come straight out of a storybook. The village was nestled in a valley, surrounded by rolling hills and lush greenery. Every morning, the sun would rise over the hills, casting a golden glow over the village, making it look even more magical. It was surrounded by green fields. These fields stretched as far as the eye could see, filled with wildflowers that swayed gently in the breeze. The air was always fresh and filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the earthy aroma of the fields. The villagers often said that the fields were the heart of their village, providing them with food, beauty, and a place for the children to play. He played there every day. Jake loved the freedom and the vastness of the fields. He would run through the meadows, feeling the soft grass under his feet and the wind in his hair. Sometimes he would lie down on the grass, looking up at the sky, watching the clouds drift by and imagining all sorts of shapes and stories. One sunny afternoon, he heard a tiny bark. He followed the sound. The bark was faint but persistent, and it piqued Jake's curiosity. He walked through the fields, his ears straining to catch the direction of the sound. The sun was high in the sky, and the fields were bathed in a warm golden light. He found a small, fluffy puppy. It was all alone. The puppy looked scared and lost, its tiny body trembling slightly. Jake's heart went out to the little creature. He knelt down and gently reached out his hand, trying to comfort the puppy. The puppy looked up at him with big, soulful eyes, and Jake knew he couldn't leave it there. Jake picked up the puppy. It licked his face. The puppy's tiny tongue tickled Jake's cheek, making him laugh. He held the puppy close, feeling its warmth and the rapid beating of its heart. The puppy seemed to sense that it was safe now, and it snuggled into Jake's arms, its fear slowly melting away. He named the puppy Max. Jake thought the name suited the puppy perfectly. Max looked up at him as if understanding that he had just been given a name, a new identity. From that moment on, they were no longer strangers, they were friends. Max and Jake were inseparable. They did everything together, whether it was exploring the fields, playing games, or just sitting quietly under a tree. They were always side by side. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and they became the best of friends. They played in the fields. Max loved to chase after Jake, his little legs moving as fast as they could. Jake would throw a stick and Max would run after it, bringing it back with a wagging tail and a happy bark. They would spend hours playing, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. They swam in the river, they went everywhere together. The river was their favorite spot. On hot days, they would splash around in the cool water, racing each other and having fun. Max loved the water, and he would paddle around happily, with Jake always close by to make sure he was safe. Max grew bigger and stronger. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Max grew from a tiny, fluffy puppy into a strong, healthy dog. His fur became shinier, and his eyes sparkled with happiness. He was no longer the scared little puppy that Jake had found in the field. He was always by Jake's side. No matter where Jake went, Max was right there with him. They were a team, and their friendship was unbreakable. Max was not just a pet, he was a loyal companion, a protector, and a true friend. Jake loved Max very much. He couldn't imagine his life without him. Max had brought so much joy and love into his life, and Jake was grateful for every moment they spent together. They had a bond that was special and unique, one that would last a lifetime. Max was his best friend. In a world that could sometimes be lonely and challenging, Max was a constant source of comfort and happiness for Jake. They had many adventures together, and their friendship was a beautiful reminder of the simple joys in life. Jake knew that no matter what, Max would always be there for him, and he would always be there for Max. Jake grew up. He moved to the city. He took Max with him. The city was big and noisy. It was very different from the village. Jake felt lost sometimes, but Max was always there for him. He made Jake feel safe. Life in the city was hard. Jake lost his job. He had no money. He had to sleep in the park. Max stayed by his side. He kept Jake warm at night. He made him feel less alone. Max was more than just a pet. He was Jake's family. One day Max got sick. He was very old. He couldn't get up. Jake was worried. He took Max to the vet. The vet said there was nothing they could do. Max was dying. Jake was heartbroken. Jake took Max back to the park. He lay down next to him. He held Max close. He told him how much he loved him. He told him stories of their adventures. Max wagged his tail weakly. He licked Jake's hand. Section 5. Saying goodbye. The sun began to rise. Max took his last breath. Jake held him tight. Tears streamed down his face. He had lost his best friend, his loyal companion. A piece of his heart was gone. The world seemed quieter, emptier. Jake buried Max under his favorite tree in the park. He placed a stone on his grave. He sat there for a long time, remembering their life together. He knew he would never forget his furry friend. Section 6. A promise kept. Every day Jake visited Max's grave. He would sit by the tree. He would talk to Max. He would tell him about his day. He would remember their adventures. He felt closer to Max there. One day Jake saw a stray dog in the park. It was all alone and scared. Jake thought of Max. He knew what he had to do. He approached the dog gently. He offered it some food and water. He gained its trust. He took it home with him. Section 7. Loyal hearts. Jake named the dog Lucky. He knew it wasn't Max, but it needed a home. It needed love, just like Max. Jake promised himself he would always help animals in need. He would honor Max's memory by showing kindness to others. Jake learned that love and loyalty are precious gifts. Dogs give these freely. They ask for nothing in return. They deserve our love and protection. They deserve a safe and happy life, just like Max had. Section 8. A call for kindness. Jake's story is a reminder to us all. Animals are not just pets, they are family, they are friends, they are loyal companions. They deserve our respect and compassion. We must speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. We must protect animals from harm. We must provide them with the care they need. We must cherish the bond we share with them, just like Jake cherished his bond with Max. Section 9, Forever Friends. The rain had stopped. The park, once drenched and gloomy, now glistened with fresh raindrops that sparkled like tiny diamonds on the grass. The air was crisp and clean, carrying the scent of wet earth and blooming flowers. It was a new beginning, a fresh start. The sun peeked through the clouds, casting a warm golden glow over the park. The sunlight filtered through the trees, creating a beautiful mosaic of light and shadow on the ground. It was as if nature itself was celebrating the end of the storm and the promise of brighter days ahead. A rainbow arched across the sky, its vibrant colors painting a breathtaking scene. Jake smiled as he looked up at the rainbow, feeling a sense of peace and hope. The rainbow was a reminder of the beauty that can follow even the darkest of storms. He knew Max was watching over him. He always would be. Max had been more than just a pet. He had been a loyal companion, a confidant, and a source of unconditional love. Even though Max was no longer physically with him, Jake felt his presence in every moment, in every memory. Their friendship would last forever. The bond they shared was unbreakable, forged through countless adventures and shared experiences. Whether they were playing fetch in the park, exploring new trails, or simply enjoying each other's company, every moment had been a treasure in his heart and in his memory. Jake left the park, holding onto the leash of his new dog, Lucky. Lucky had come into his life at a time when he needed a friend the most, and together they were creating new memories while honoring the old ones. He took Lucky for a walk, enjoying the simple pleasure of being outdoors. The neighborhood was alive with the sounds of birds chirping and children playing, a testament to the vibrancy of life. With each step, Jake felt a little lighter, a little more hopeful. He knew Max would be happy. Max had always wanted Jake to be happy, to live life to the fullest. And now, with Lucky by his side, Jake was finding joy again. He was learning to smile, to laugh, and to embrace the beauty of each new day. He was living his promise. Jake had promised Max that he would continue to spread kindness and love just as Max had taught him. Whether it was helping an elderly neighbor or picking up litter in the park, Jake was committed to making the world a better place. He was honoring his best friend's memory. Every act of kindness, every moment of joy was a tribute to Max. Jake placed flowers at a memorial in the park, a small gesture to show that Max would never be forgotten with every act of kindness. Jake volunteered at the local animal shelter, giving food to stray dogs and helping to care for them. It was his way of giving back, of continuing the legacy of love and compassion that Max had started with every animal he helped. Max would live on. Each animal he helped was a reminder of Max's spirit, a testament to the enduring power of love and friendship. Jake knew that as long as he continued to help others, Max's memory would never fade in the hearts of those who loved him. Jake was surrounded by friends who shared his love for animals, and together they created a community of kindness and compassion. Max's legacy lived on in the hearts of all who had been touched by his love.